Welcome to Vegan Finds, and as part of Oktoberfest week, we are going to be making Spaetzle. We're going to be doing a vegan cheesy Spaetzle, gluten-free. I know you're wondering about these things right here. These are remnants from an apple picking expedition, and I am removing them right now um, from our display here. They're not going to be used in our dish. That's me just having a little bit of fun. So, what goes into Spaetzle? It's basically some gluten-free flour. I'm going to be using some of the Indian black salt, which is going to give it a little bit of an eggy flavor because Spaetzle is made with eggs. It's an egg kind of noodle, and we're just going to continue, with our theme here. Obviously, it's a pretty easy dish to make. The one thing that you need is a Spaetzle maker, which is anything that has some wide holes. So if you have like a wide hole grater that you would use to grate, like, Parmesan cheese, that sort of thing, or one of those inserts that goes into a pot, you don't have to buy a Spaetzle maker. That that's spending $30 to $60 that you don't need. So I'm going to go show you what I'm going to use, and then I'm going to show you how to make the dough. Okay, so in order for me to make my Spaetzle, I'm going to actually use this spoon right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the dough through the holes. Now these are a little bit more narrow than I would prefer, but barring going out and getting a Spaetzle maker, I'm not doing that. This is the best I got. The pasta inserts that you see sometimes that come with the pots, those have a little bit slightly bigger hole. That would be even better than this, but we're going to use this, and I'll show you how to use it momentarily, but first we got to make the dough. Okay, so in my bowl I'm adding 2 cups of gluten-free flour. I'm using the Bob's Red Mill 1-for-1. To that, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of tumeric, just to just give it a yellow color that the egg yolks would add to the dish. So I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon there. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Kala Namak, which is the black salt, providing I can find it. I just used it, so it's somewhere around here. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to add my black salt, which is really pink in color, to this. And now I'm just gonna whisk this all together to kind of blend it up evenly. And we are adding to this 1 cup of water. I'm just going to add it a little bit at a time. Now I'm just going to get a spatula to use to mix in the rest of the water. I'm going old school wooden spoon method here. I'm just going to pour this in and just slowly start mixing this. Now you want this dough to be sticky and come together. It might need more water. All depends on the humidity for the day. I'm just going to continue to work this. And of course, the different blends of gluten-free flour will take water differently. If they have psyllium husk powder, you might need to add more water. If they have any of the gums, guar, xanthan, you're going to need to add more water to it as well. So I'm definitely going to need to add some additional water to this. So I'm going to go get some more water, and I will continue to mix this, and I'll be back in a flash. Okay, so I added actually a full another cup to this, and you can see this is kind of how you want it. It's a very kind of sticky type of dough. If you're not using gluten-free flour, you're definitely going to use less water. But I used the Bob's, like I said, I used the Bob's Red Mill one for one. And this is the result. I need to add a whole nother cup. So I will notate that in the recipe when I post this. And now this is done. So what I'm going to now do is I'm going to get some water boiling. I'm going to give this dough a little time to rest here. And while the water is getting ready to boil, I'm also going to make the sauce that goes with it, the cheesy goodness sauce. So stick around. I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so in order to make the cheese sauce, I got 2 tablespoons of vegan butter, which I'm melting in my pan right here. I'm just going to lower the heat just a teeny tiny bit. And as that's melting, in here I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of curry powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and I'm just going to add that in. Now if you want to add salt, you can. I'm not adding any salt because I find that the vegan butter is pretty salty for my taste. And as that starts to waft up, we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of our gluten-free flour. I can get 1/3 of a cup out of here. Yeah, here we go. We're going to whisk that in. Oops. It's kind of like a basic roux type of situation going on here. You want to make sure you get the corners because you don't want the roux to burn. I'm going to now add 1/3 of a cup of nutritional yeast as well. And this should be lumpy. Should look exactly like this. I'm going to get this all just warm through, and then we're going to add to this 1/2 cup of water. That's right, I said water. I'm going to lower the heat to low. I'm just going to slowly whisk this in. It should just come together. I might have to add some more water, again because of the gluten-free flour. The ratios tend to change a little bit, and which kind you use. Usually I keep a little extra on hand. I do have a pot next to me, so I'm going to lower the heat even more. Yeah, this is definitely going to need a little bit more flour. I mean more water. Let me just grab my pitcher. I'm going to start adding a little bit at a time until it loosens up and makes a nice sauce. It's getting there. A little bit more, and it'll be ready. See, sometimes you got to adjust these things on the fly, like we're doing right here. So, be careful. I'm splashing myself here. Giving myself a little vegan cheese sauce shower at the same time. I'm sure my dogs will appreciate it. I don't know if Doris will appreciate me smelling like a vegan cheese sauce. So, this is just about done. I'm just going to add just a touch more water. Now, if you make this ahead of time and you reheat it, you can always add additional water to this. Just going to add just a fraction more. And I'm going to set this aside and bring the water. Hopefully it's boiling by now so we can make the Spaetzle. So I'll be back to show you how to make the Spaetzle and put this all together. Okay, so the water's just about boiling, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little of our Spaetzle dough. I'm just going to start, hopefully, pushing it through. There we go. And as these things float to the surface, they'll be basically done cooking. So this is all you have to do. You might get a couple stray clumps in there if you're not careful. So I'm going to wait, see how these come out. Water was probably just not quite hot enough yet, but we'll see. I don't know why it's taking so long for this water to boil, but it is. I'm also going to get this guy out. He's ugly. I just moved him off camera a little bit. He wasn't ready for his close-up. Alright, so I'm going to continue to do some more. Kind of evenly distribute it around the pot. Start to see they're just starting to get to that floaty stage. Again, this works better if the water's actually boiling, not simmering. I'm losing my spatula here. So we're going to let these cook for a second. I'm going to wait for that water to come up to a boil. Once these come up, we're going to basically scoop them out of our pan with this and put them in a sieve so they don't, get, stay wet and soggy. You want them to dry up a little bit. And as you can see, they're just starting to float up to the surface here, which means they are getting ready to be done. So I might as well start adding more to our mix here. Now they used to do this by hand. Can you imagine making Spaetzle by hand with a knife and a cutting board? Not my idea of fun, for sure. Finally. Alright, so I'm going to scoop some of these out right here. Not bad. Not bad at all. There we go. These are starting to look good. I probably could have used this to make the Spaetzle. That might have worked a little bit better. But again, it's not the end of the world. You kind of learn to improvise. When you're a vegan, you got to improvise a lot of times. So I'm going to continue to scoop these out. Then I'll show you how to finish off this dish with the cheese sauce. So stick around. We'll show you how it's done. And we'll be back with the finished product. So you had to catch that. Okay, so We got our cheese sauce ready, and now we're just going to add our Spaetzle to our bowl here. And we're just going to toss it in with the cheese sauce, like so. I'm going to just shut off the heat now because the sauce is done cooking. All right, we just need a bowl. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little sprinkle of black pepper. A little zhuzh of paprika. Wait. Want to give it a little zhuzh of paprika. Of course, you know the final touch.
Bacon bits?
No! Fried onions!
Hot sauce?
Oh, you could add hot sauce to this. Won't be very German of you.
Hot sauce?
Hot sauce?
There you go.
We need the fried onions.
They're over there.
Oh. Sheesh. You know, I gotta do everything around here. I bring home the bacon, I fry it up in a pan.
He doesn't bring home bacon. He
Yeah.
definitely doesn't fry it in a pan. Not in my house.
And I never forget that you're a man. Anyway. All right. Super thumbnail and all. This is, you don't have to move it. This is the final product. We added some crispy gluten-free fried onions. Now you can make your own onion rings. I chose not to do it because I already got too much of a mess in the kitchen, and you know, one more mess was probably going to push Doris over the edge. So stick around. Follow us on Facebook, like us, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. For now. Enjoy, be happy, be healthy, and we'll see you for the next installment.